Today's video is going to be a little different in the fact that we're not going to be talking about fishing like usual. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself a little better, growing up, where I'm from, who I am now, the struggles that I have on a daily basis, and I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all what I have planned for this channel. If you haven't already liked and comment this video, go ahead and comment and like. Tell me a little bit about you, tell me your name, and tell me how your day's going. And if you would, please subscribe. It doesn't incline y'all to anything. You don't have to pay a cent. It just really helps out this channel, and let's get this show on the road. Alright, so here's a little introduction to me. I was born in Houston, Texas, August 6, 2001. Do the math, I'm 19 years old. I currently reside in Bryan, College Station area. I go to Blinn College. This is my freshman year. I graduated last year, class of 2020 of Sweeney. This has been the weirdest year of my life. I'm not even gonna lie. It's been a struggle. It's been a grind. I'm constantly changing my mind on what I'm gonna do when I grow up. Not what I want to do, but what I'm gonna do as a job. Places I fish is anywhere from Galveston down to Matagorda, mostly in Matagorda area. Sometimes I go to Port O'Connor with my family, but that's just occasional. Yeah, this is me right now. So my childhood growing up, I grew up in the Lake Jackson area, around the Freeport, around Richwood, everywhere in that area. I have 2 uncles, 2 aunts. I want to say 2, 3, 4 cousins, and an awesome pair of grandparents. My grandma has been a rock throughout my childhood, throughout my learning. Don't let me forget, I had an awesome brother and an awesome mom growing up. And they're still here. I'm not saying growing up, they're still here. Anyways, my mom, she was a single mother and put me and my brother through school. Always kept food on our table, even if that meant she was going to eat that night. My grandparents were like a second pair of parents to us. They really helped us out. My grandpa was like he taught me everything that dad needed to teach his son. I didn't have a dad growing up, so I forgot to mention that. Yeah, my brother also took that place as a role model as my dad growing up. They taught me everything that I needed to know. They knew how to take care of me in any need that I needed. My grandpa, man, he's one of the coolest guys out. He's one of those guys that everybody should have a grandpa like him. We call him Papa. He's the guy who really got me into fishing. We would go on these week-long visits down to Port O'Connor, Texas when I was little. We haven't got to do them in a while due to family conditions and stuff, but yeah, that's how I grew up fishing, was just going down to Freeport, unloading at Froggies and going down the jetties and everything else, man. Those are probably some of the best memories of my life. But yeah, growing up, I played baseball from T-ball all the way to my sophomore year. I played football from junior high all the way to my senior year, and I played golf from my sophomore year through my senior year, and we didn't get to finish because of the whole corona bug thing. You know how that went, but yeah, it was really my childhood. Was really a mean little kid. I just wanted to always be with my brother because he's my brother. He was my best friend growing up. Growing up, I was a lot more of a hunter. I did a lot of hunting out of Bracketville. I was a big bow hunter. We hunted, me and my friend Randall, we would hunt all over where we lived. We would go and kill a bunch of hogs and stuff for people. We did night vision hog hunting. I mean, it was really cool, but I was a lot more of a hunter growing up. I did freshwater fishing with my stepfather because he was a freshwater fisher, but I did a lot of saltwater when I was a little kid, and then I did the freshwater, and now I'm finally getting back into the saltwater game. I forgot to mention that my mom also remarried when I was around 11 or 12, which is why we moved to Sweeney. But I remember when they first started talking, I was so excited because he lived out on a ranch in Sweeney. He's got all these horses. He has a hunting lease. So it's just everything that like I was trying to do when I was little, you know. Yeah, the first time I ever saw him, me and my mom were rolling up through the street, and he was freaking riding a horse, and I was like, wow, that's freaking awesome. But yeah, anyways, we would go on lots of hunts down to Bracketville, Texas, if y'all know where that's at, south of Uvalde, you know, South Texas. And yeah, he's really been a really helpful guy in me growing up too. Just a good guy, and I'm glad that he's part of our family now. He has been part of our family for, I think I'm a bad son, I don't know, I think it's been like 9 or 10 years now, but yeah, we're glad to have him in the family. Hey, I know it's starting to rain, so if you hear a little tap 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 in the background, that's what it is, so I'm sorry. But this next subject is a really sensitive subject to me, because I like keeping it to myself, because I don't want other people to think differently of me just because I have these problems. But when I was 12, I was diagnosed with neurocardiogenic dysautonomia. And basically my whole life, my whole family just always called me the fainting goat, because every time I would get a needle in me, a sharp pain or something, I would pass out. Well, when I was 12, you have to get your blood taken for some reason from the school to test it or whatever, I don't know, but I was getting my blood taken and I ended up having a seizure. So they were like, oh, that's not normal, let's go get him tested by a neurocardiologist, whatever. So we went and did that, and they do this test in there when you first go in there. It's called a tilt table. So you'll be lying back on it, back flat to it, and looking up, and it'll slowly raise you at different increments. And it's just a table, but different increments to see how your body reacts to it. I think we got not to a full 90, but right in this range, and I passed out. And all the doctors, mind you, I'm passed out. This is what I've heard from my mom when it happened. I was out. All the doctors and the nurses were scrambling around, and my mom was like, oh, he does this all the time, it's normal, I don't know why y'all are freaking out. And the doctor was like, hold on just 1 second. So when they finally got me conscious, the doctor looked at my mom and showed her the screen of my heart tracker. I flatlined on that table for 10 seconds. So apparently every time that when I passed out before I got put on medicine, I was actually flatlining. So I don't know how I'm still here, to be honest with you, but I'm very blessed to still be here. I'm not gonna put any pictures of any of the stuff. Like, I have pictures from when I went to the doctor and stuff, but y'all don't want to see those. I looked very sick, completely white. It's just not something I really want to share with that many people, close friends and family. But so fast forward to my junior year, you could have told me from then, when I got tested and found out what I had, to my sophomore year, you could have told me I had a heart problem. I would have. It's not a heart problem. They diagnosed me with the neurocardiogenic autonomia. It's really, my heart's fine, but my brain doesn't communicate to my heart right. So basically, when I pass out, your brain tells your heart that you're good, just keep beating. My brain tells my heart to stop beating. I'm sorry, I'm kind of tripped up about this subject. My brain tells my heart to stop beating, and so that's why I would flatline every time. So like I said, fast forward from when I got diagnosed to my junior year, you could have told me in between that time frame that I had a heart condition, and I would have never known. I felt like a normal kid. I never had any like side effects. Once I got put on my heart medicine, I was good to go. My junior year, I decided to start partying, and did some, drank a little bit, which are all things that you're not really supposed to do when you have a heart condition. But at this point, I was done with the whole partying part of my life, and I was really getting tired of going to the parties and stuff. But I went to this one night. I went to a party in Clute, and I was with a really good friend, Lillian, and she was telling me how I really need to chill out because I do have a heart problem. And I was like, okay, you know what, you're right, I'm just going to go home. Well, on my way home, I was called over to go hang out with another one of my buds. At this point in time, it's about 12 o'clock a.m. And I went and hung out with them, and they went hunting or something. So at this point, it's like 2:30 a.m. And one of the guys that are there is like, come over to my house. We're gonna talk about our dads, like, because we both didn't have dads growing up, so we were gonna talk about that. And while he was talking to me about it, I started going into an episode with my heart, and it was very scary. I'm sorry, my camera just like cut off for some reason. I went on a whole another like 5 minutes, but it was very scary because I wasn't on my medicine. So I ended up going to the hospital that was right next to the street, in Sweeney Hospital, and they tried to inject me with an IV like 6 times, but the person kept missing my veins, so they kept sticking me, and that's what causes me to actually start going into another heart episode. So finally they were trying to release me, and every time they would try to take the IV out, for some reason my heart rate would drop below 10, and when that happens, let me tell you, it feels like there's a boulder on your chest, and it's just growing with weight every second until you can't breathe. So they're like, that's not supposed to happen, we're going to transfer him to Houston's Children. I was like, oh, all right. So they transferred me, and at that point, that was like 6 a.m. So I left at around 6 a.m., got to the Houston hospital probably around 7:30 a.m. 30 a.m. I'm sorry I'm so jittery. It just really freaks me out talking about this too. Got there at 7:30 a.m. and they're like, well, we can't really do anything because when I have those episodes, all I can do is push fluids through my body. They're like, we can't really do anything, we're just going to hold him and monitor him. So they held me till 4 p.m. that day, and then they went to release me. Finally got released, went and recovered at my house. About a week later, I decided to go on a date, and when I went on this date, it was at the movies, and I was sitting there watching the screen, and then all of a sudden I started feeling like I was having a heart thing, and I was like, oh my god, please not here. So I went to the bathroom to get away from everything and stop freaking out. And what I didn't know then, I know now, I was having a panic attack in that bathroom, and I didn't know how to cope with it. So I ended up like spazzing out, and they called the ambulance on me. So from that day forward, I never left my house. Every time I went somewhere, I felt like I was gonna pass out. It was gonna happen all over again. I got really depressed. I lost a lot of weight, a lot of muscle, and I just became very unhealthy. Fast forward, that was my junior year summer. So starting that summer, I never went anywhere until the end of my senior year last year. I finally got with a therapist, and she was a medical therapist, something, I don't know, but she actually diagnosed me with medical PTSD. So every time I started getting this feeling anywhere I was out, it was because of my anxiety and medical PTSD. And once you bridge the gap from a heart episode to medical PTSD, it's very hard to burn that bridge. And you don't want that bridge there, because every time you have a panic attack, you're going to think it's your heart, which is going to make you go even more into a panic attack. So once I figured out how to determine what was a panic attack and what wasn't, it made things a lot easier, but yet I still had very bad anxiety. I was starting to finally get out of the house, but I would still have anxiety attacks outside where it just made me not want to go anywhere. So fast forward to a week ago, I was told something that has really stuck with me at this point because I'm very tired of feeling this way. A guy by the name of Caleb McCumber told me he understands what I'm going through, and basically he went through the same, not the same thing with the heart, but he had the medical PTSD too. He basically one day said, F it, you know, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die doing something that I want to do. And ever since then, that has given me so much motivation to actually start doing the things that I want, the things that, you know, if I'm doing something, oh well, it's gonna be something that I want to do if I die doing it. So that's where I'm at now. But yeah, that is my story with all of my conditions. Now here's how I got into fishing again. So after staying home that long because of my condition, I really lost a lot of friends. I had a couple that were still close to me that understood what I was going through, but I found out who was really my friends and who really wasn't. So it was, I had a lot of time to myself. Hardly anybody wanted to ever hang out again. And I'm not trying to sound pity me, I'm just telling you what's got me back into fishing. So I was tired of not doing anything my senior year summer, so I started watching fishing on YouTube like you're doing right now. And I watched a bunch of Caleb TV. I watched a bunch of Sticks HD. I think it's Sticks HD. I think that's his channel. I watched a lot of kayaking channels. I'm not going to mention who they are because I don't agree with what they do now that I know better. Yeah, I just watched a lot of fishing on YouTube, and I was like, I want to do that. So I started fishing again, and I fell in love with it again. And I noticed that when I was fishing, it made me stop thinking of all the problems that I had going on, and it just threw them out the door. No matter what was going on, it didn't matter, because all that mattered to me was what's between the water between me and that lure. So fishing has been a really good coping mechanism for everything that I've had go on lately. But like I said, this is what got me back into fishing. I ended up buying a kayak, a little $500 SN from Bass Pro, and then I upgraded to a Old Town 120 PDL. Yeah, I mean, it's just a topwater. It doesn't have the drive system. I just manually paddle. But yeah, that's how I got back into fishing. I'm just reading all of the fishing magazines, listening to the Bite Me podcast, just everything that y'all are already probably doing. I'm just doing it a lot more now. So my channel goals. The reason I created this channel was I want to bridge the gap from beginner to intermediate a lot faster, because when I first started, there's some things that I was doing that was so wrong. I thought a topwater, I've done a video on a topwater now, I thought a topwater was a suspending bait. So when I was throwing it out there and saw it sitting on the top, I was like, I'm doing something wrong, I'm not reeling fast enough to get it under the water. Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. I want beginners to have a base knowledge of knowing what they're doing fishing, so they can start catching more fish and not be as discouraged as you do get in the beginning if you don't know what you're doing. Here soon, I'm gonna be getting more camera equipment. Right now, I'm actually filming with a ZV-1. It's by Sony. It's a good beginning vlogger camera, but I need to get some stuff that's waterproof, because I want to be taking y'all on the water with me when I'm fishing, make a lot of fishing videos. I'm gonna do some videos with Caleb, so I'm definitely gonna need some stuff for when we're wading. Just this channel is just gonna grow and grow, and I'm never gonna stop putting videos on here. I'm always gonna put my fishing videos on here, even if I don't have any more advice to give. I will re-up on videos I've done just with upgraded knowledge that I have. But like I said, I won't ever stop putting videos on here. I'll always put fishing videos on here. This channel is probably never gonna go away. So with all this knowledge that I'm going to gain, I've decided that I'm gonna go work after I graduate for 10-15 years and guide on the weekends and build up my clientele to where once I get enough customers coming, I can make a smooth transition from a regular job to being a full-time guide. That's what I want to be. That's what I'm striving for now. That is where my head's at. I don't want to do anything else but fish for the rest of my life. This is it. This is all I want. So that is my ultimate goal. Thank y'all for listening to my story. I just want y'all to know, if y'all have any conditions or anything, y'all aren't alone. There are support groups you can find anywhere, like on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, anywhere. Any platform, you can find a support group for what you have. Don't let it tear you down as much as it tore me down. I had to rebuild who I was, and I'm still rebuilding who I am right now because of the impact that my medical condition had on me, because I let it get that bad. Don't let it get that bad. Put your head over matter. I mean, be you. Do what you need to do in order to be you. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Peace.